This is Power Athlete Radio. With your hosts, Denny K, Professor Booty, and the Luke Summers. And now, toes forward, hips locked, shoulders set, and retract those scapulars. It's time for some knowledge bombs.
Thanks for tuning into Power Athlete Radio. This week we have Jim Bathurst of Beast Skills. Jim brings a rare insight into the world of strength and conditioning because his specialty lies in the niche world of acrobatics, gymnastics, and grip training. Hear how he got his start by mastering a parlor trick and his subsequent journey to becoming a recognized resource in the genre of obscure badassery. Jim also coaches our listeners up on how to incorporate random skill work into Gen Pop programming and the value it yields. Just a warning to our listeners, we recorded this episode while Jim was between appointments, so there is some ambient noise in the background. And for that, I say, deal with it. Lots of great info coming at you in episode 92 of Power Athlete Radio.
Gotta make this run on time. A little while pill for them little white lines I'm smoking.
Jim, I know you from Balance Gym. That's how we first met at Calorama Balance, which is like still has a soft place, I'm sure, in both of our hearts. It's like it was the most raw gym of all time. Yeah. It was like the lifters gym. Nothing was clean, and everyone had some sort of DNA on it.
Yeah. I think so, absolutely.
It was amazing. But tell me a little bit about like kind of how you started in the industry, and then tell me what you're doing now.
Let's see how I started. Man, it's been ages ago now. When I left college, I got a job in real estate, commercial real estate appraisal. I was doing that for about a year and a half, and I just kind of realized that I didn't like sitting down at a desk all day. Mm-hmm. Thought to myself, like, what have I always liked? And I've always liked, working out, training, and then helping, of course, my friends, for different workouts. So I said, hey, let's see how personal training goes. Let me see what certifications I need. So I started getting that all together. I must have clearly been slacking at my old job as I was getting ready to be a personal trainer because they fired me in May of 2005. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the best thing anyway for both of us. So got fired, did a bunch of moving jobs as I was finishing up my certs, and then started in the fall of 2005 personal training at a location actually on 14th Street. That guy ended up getting kicked out of his space a month later. Mm-hmm. So that's my first exposure to personal training in DC. It's
You're like perfect.
Some deadbeat gym owner.
Yeah.
He hears this, but regardless. So we get kicked out, and then he finds Balance Gym. So we walk to the Balance Gym. I guess it must have been 2006.
Yeah. And that was in Calorama. That was the original one.
That was the only location. Only location was Calorama. I stepped in. The very first thing I think I said as I stepped in there was, "Where's the squat rack?" There wasn't even a squat rack.
Unbelievable.
Yet. It was actually, and I knew.
So we have you to thank for the squat racks then.
I put together the first squat rack for Balance Gym. But when I walked in there, I still knew it was a good spot because it had a lifting platform and bumper plates.
Oh, that's cool.
So, before it even had a squat rack.
Which was super rare back then. That was like 2006 or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so, that's super rare. And Balance Gym, that location, that Calorama location, it was home to the first CrossFit gym in DC. Mm-hmm. So CrossFit DC.
Yeah.
Seeing the CrossFit phenomenon just literally blossom underneath your nose. Was just
crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And rapid. So once you got involved in sort of like made training and sort of your career, had you had this pre-existing, because people may or may not know you. They know, if they know like Beast Skills, which is your website, then, they may or may not understand your passion for the sort of the gymnastics aspect and almost like the very niche aspect of like grip training. And, that's, you're like phenomenally good at handstand walking and handstand holding, and like just your gymnastics and acrobatic skills are so like, I haven't quite seen anyone, even in like the CrossFit realm. You see people bullshitting all the time, but they don't even they do not hold a candle to like your capability. Yeah, of course. So like, how did you find that niche, and when did that come about?
That came about before I started even doing personal training. So back in high school, a buddy of mine and he had an uncle who would tell us stories about days of his time on a gymnastics troupe.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say all this stuff like, yeah, to impress all the ladies to do like pull-ups on the door frames with your fingertips. And he would say like, we used to press up into a handstand on chairs and doing all this crazy stuff. And he just put the bug in our ears. So
anything with girls, it's like.
I'm like, what? I think girls this way? Oh, man, yeah. So my buddy and I started challenging each other, like, okay, let's try to walk across the backyard in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
We had an old set of wooden parallettes. This is back in like, I don't know, 97, 96, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So all this information about gymnastics just wasn't really widespread. But we had a set of parallettes, and we challenged ourselves to press up into a handstand, standing handstand.
Sure.
That was sort
the
of like
first feat of strength.
That was the first feat of skill. So that was the first feat of strength. And I love that to death. I got to college, and I didn't even know about this troupe. But at the University of Maryland, there's the Gymkhana troupe.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exhibitional gymnastics troupe, which means like we don't compete in gymnastics, but we just put on shows in gymnastics. And that included the traditional apparatus, parallel bars, pommel horse, stuff like that, plus non-traditional stuff like doing handstands on stacks of chairs.
Mm-hmm.
We also would flip through hoops of fire during halftime shows.
Yeah.
So I know whatever, just normal college experience and stuff like that. So, but like I said, it just kind of like continued my love of just the gymnastics and acrobatics and whatnot. And sometime during that time, you'd see someone do something awesome or whatever on the fledgling internet and say, "Oh, that's such an awesome skill, it's such a beast thing to do." And with my training, like in that troupe, and then a few years after it, like I said, it was just hard to find information. It was really hard to find information. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to put together this website with all the stuff that I've kind of figured out. Again, no real formal training, obviously. Just sort of like haphazard through the years. And started offering different tutorials and whatnot.
Yeah.
That led into seminars. I started doing seminars at CrossFit gyms. I think in 2007. So I've been doing that for a while. So the gymnastics, grew from, middle of high school. The grip training was from a buddy of mine in college. He liked it to death, and that was something that, again, you never saw really anywhere. You didn't see people working, the specialized grip training. So that was just another thing I just kind of took to. Everyone takes to something, and everyone kind of is driven by something. And,
finds like a little niche.
Those are the things that I've liked, and
that's super cool. And they have like you said, that almost like that exhibitionist sort of quality to them. So people love to watch it, and you become like a freak show. You're a walking 100%. Freak show because and it's not like. And it's I don't mean that in any sort of like negative way or derogatory way. I
took it as a negative way. This interview is over.
I know. I've been places where people are like, Jimmy, like, stand on your hands, like walk on your hands, like all stuff, or you won't do it, and you just make everybody look like idiots because you can so easily do any of that stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's fun stuff, and I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy performing every so often.
It's just like any parlor trick. It's cool.
Absolutely, yeah. The grip strength too. I was actually just teaching some classes last September. There's this website called nerdfitness.com, and they had this like sort of retreat, like a 3 or 4 day retreat in Georgia. And I taught classes on Olympic lifting, and I taught classes on acrobatics and handstands and stuff like that. I also taught a grip strength class. Well, the thing I used to kind of pull everyone into that class and really kind of build up the hype was that I was going to bend some nails with my bare hand, with my hands afterwards. So that's what I did. I just wrapped up a couple nails. And,
super smart.
And just banged them out. So I'm sure you're totally bored with that with Bobby.
No, oh my God. No, Bobby has one video that went viral, and no, but he's kind of like the same type of thing where he's nerded out on like some like pretty obscure like talents, which is super awesome. But really, like, when it comes to training too, the cool thing is you can see how one thing can enhance another thing. So like I'm sure like all of your balance training, for instance, and your stability training has translated to things like catching in a full snatch, or like all of that stuff is interrelated. And I mean, as far as your training goes, like currently, what are some of your training goals, and how do those have any overlap with like the specialty stuff that you had before that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of like the goals I currently have, I've got like mobility sort of goals. So that's the one thing that I've found over the past several years more than anything is that like any sort of lack of mobility I have is just a total hindrance, total killer. Not only of course to strength gains, but also I had bad impingement in my left shoulder maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Supraspinatus kept on getting pinched up, so I've been working super hard to open that up, my hips and everything like that. In terms of like getting like splits and things like that, like working toward there. In all those advanced like hand balancing skills, you need that. It really helps that more and more mobile hips and a greater range of motion. So of course, like stuff like that carries over, so that I'm able, like you said, like catch a snatch no problem, squat no problem, things like that. On top of that, I've got my acrobatic goals, trying to continue to hold my one-arm handstand longer and longer.
What are you up to now? 6 seconds was the last I saw, or more than that?
13 seconds.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
Damn,
I'm out of
it's okay. I just posted a video now.
I'm on the video from like 2012.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
Most recent was I held a one-arm handstand for 13 seconds.
That's sick.
It is a fight for every single second, I swear to God. So the goal of that is just 15 seconds, go farther than that. And then, like I said, snatch. I've got snatch goals and clean and jerk goals. Hit my squat goal of 405, so that was good.
Nice.
What else? Oh, and then of course with grip goals, I've got goals of closing the number 3 gripper, which is like the creme de la creme. It's world class grip feet.
Yeah.
But like I said, everything kind of carries over. So like grip strength, of course. Obviously, I've got a level of grip above and beyond what I probably need for a lot of things, but it still helps everything.
Yeah.
The mobility I'm working on for my hand balancing, carries over to my weightlifting. The stability that I'm building with weightlifting and overhead squats and snatches and whatnot is helping with my one-arm handstand. So again, it's something that's all interrelated and all interconnected.
Yeah, and then so like in terms of your like programming here and your training and coaching style, you like to integrate a lot of that stuff into your training because you can see in your own training the transference. So you offer that expertise as part of like your coaching style and stuff
for the CrossFit. Yeah,
classes. For like Gen Pop type classes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And do they dig it?
Oh yeah, they love it. In terms of, I tell people like with CrossFit, what I love about this right now and what it's really kind of brought about so many different disciplines that like people just weren't really familiar with.
Totally.
So now what's great, I mean, you can go anywhere in the country and like there'll be a gym with like bumper plates, like you said. Way back in the day, that was a rarity. Now it's all over the place. So I'm having my athletes work on the Olympic lifts. I'm having them work tons of different gymnastic skills. I even throw in tons of different grip work as well too, because again, it's just it's super helpful because, like you said, I see the advantage it has in my training, and I want to expose them to that as well too. And even the guys that have like been lifting for ages, there's more than likely something I can give them that they have not done yet, and it'll expose a weekness. Like, oh my God, you know what? I can deadlift 1 million pounds, but I've never gone up on my hands and I suck at it. I see stuff like that all the time. So it's good to kind of show people, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Have you run into like any, I don't want to say like discrimination because of specialization or anything like that? Or do you have any like thoughts about the idea of training for anything and everything all at the same time? Do you have any personal thoughts on that without being too... I mean, I know one of like the sentiments that we kind of share is that like you have to know, you have to guide your training for a goal, right? Because you're only going to end up with arbitrary results if your training is arbitrary. And, I think that's like one of the things that we struggle with as coaches because we deal so much with people who have relatively arbitrary or just kind of general goals. You have a general goal, so you're going to have a general template to meet that goal or that demand. And we know what the recipe for that is, caloric deficit, and Metcon the shit out of people. So they have like 6 packs, right? But like, do you find that it's like kind of a struggle personally and professionally to like say like, okay, well, I want to program for like get these people stronger or get them more mobile or something, and like trying to like make that balance? Does anyone ever come up to you and have like take issue with like...
Take issue with my programming?
Yeah, take issue.
People, I would tell you, and every single CrossFit director in a single CrossFit gym is going to tell you.
Oh, everyone has like, people,
Yeah, someone knows better, and they're going, that your programming sucks, and it's not like...
And it could be exactly what they asked for, and...
Anyway, won't get into that too much. But like I said, all in all, I'm getting really positive feedback. Not only, of course, people saying, "Hey, I love this program; it's great," but also just, I mean, the Bobby's
live audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have a live studio audience here. But not only, I can totally forgot my train of thought.
That's okay.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, just people and.
I'm sorry. The sort of the proof's in the pudding in terms of like programming. If you're programming and people are getting PRs every single month, then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
If they're getting better at their lifts, if they're getting better at even their mobility, something simple as that. And that's what we've seen.
And people have to be patient too. And that's the other thing is that people don't understand that it takes, like, for instance, if their goal is to get stronger, people don't understand that it takes like a literal lifetime to get to like supreme strength. And so like once people stop seeing like the beginner PRs, when they enter the dark days, as we call it, like where things start to stagnate a little bit, then it's kind of like, well, not everything is just handed to you. You have to you have to start working like a lot harder. You have to create some variations and change in volume, intensity, etc.
100%. Yeah.
Well, what are some of the best resources? Do you remember, this is so embarrassing that I can admit this, but the first time we met and you interviewed me for my first position in a gym, and you asked me what are some of my resources, and my biggest resource at the time was, do you remember what I told you?
Yeah, she said T-Nation. You know what? No, honestly, I swear, like
and at the time, that was like a formidable resource.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I haven't gone there in 3 or 4 years, but regardless of that, like, it does. It has a lot of great articles.
Once John hears this, he's going to fire me.
Sorry. It's all about context.
Yes, exactly.
Back in that day. Obviously, like, T-Nation back in the day was good. In terms of the stuff that I look up now, there's just a lot of great, it just depends essentially on what's, discipline I'm trying to improve upon. Mm-hmm. Olympic lifting, you've got the guys from Muscle Driver, Callus Athletics, things like that. Tom McCauley, I'll read his stuff as well too. Will Fleming's got some good videos and good stuff on his site. So that's kind of the Olympic lifting, Cal Strength guys and whatnot. Was at a Cal Strength seminar. A couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. It was really awesome to see those guys just like, oh, here's 315, boom.
Yeah. Did they come here?
No, they went to Georgetown.
Oh, cool.
And it was Spitz and a guy's name, I believe his name was Jake. Super nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Both really nice guys. And Jake missed 1 or 2 snatches. And Dave is like, come on, man. These people didn't pay big bucks to watch you miss these weights. So he's just totally busting
giving him shit.
Yeah, totally giving him shit, which is exactly what you need to do for mental training. But regardless of that, Olympic lifting, that's good. There's a lot more gymnastics and acrobatic resources than when I first started B-Skills. I actually did the math, and I started B-Skills, I think, about 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Which just blows my mind.
Wow, there wasn't even internet then.
Yeah, I know. I was just sending emails out to people.
It was just infomercials late at night.
Exactly. I was with Tony Robbins and those twins that sell reels.
Yes, exactly. That was you with the ponytail on, like the gazelle.
Yeah. I was doing it. The resources for gymnastics, a lot of great resources. Not only online, but what's amazing is how many people you can get in contact with and actually learn from directly. With gymnastics, Ido Portal is fantastic. He's got a lot of great material and great videos. I did remote coaching with him 3-4 years ago, something like that. He's got a lot of great videos out there, of course. And then let's see who else. Christopher Summers at Gymnastics Bodies. He's got a whole module for
and stuff, and
things like that. Again, fantastic.
Really,
stuff.
Really good stuff.
Really, really in depth. In terms of people I've met. So one of my big coaches for hand balancing is Yuval Ayalon, Ayalon, and he has a Facebook, Yuval on Hands. He was a professional acrobat with the Le Rev show at Las Vegas. He did that. Sorry, Yuval, if I totally screw up your bio, but it's something like 8 years. I don't know, whatever it was. It was a number of years. He recently retired from that, and now he's been just giving seminars all around the world. So it's something that he's a super nice guy that I can throw a question to every so often. And then, of course, I've been able to work with him in person a couple times.
Cool.
Same thing with Yuri Marmerstein, another great guy for hand balancing and acrobatics and gymnastics. He's out of Vegas, I believe, right now. I've met with him a couple times, gone to a couple of his seminars. Again, like I said, it's just you have so many, like, once you start kind of delving into that world with like acrobatics, everyone knows everyone.
And people are so enthusiastic about anybody. I mean, like you said, it's like once you get into the world of it, it is a relatively small world, and people are more than happy to help. If you have sort of that passion, that intrinsic passion. I mean, it's like cut from the same cloth. So that's super cool, though. That's like more than enough resource. And then of course your own website, which you have a lot of materials on there. I know you've been super busy with running operations here at CrossFit Foggy Bottom, but I know that I've gone to your website and sent your website to many people, but it's bskills.com, right?
You got it, bskills.com, and I've got I'd say the website I don't update quite as much, but what I do update a lot more often, just because it's like real quick and easy. I'll give Facebook posts, YouTube videos, things like that, stuff like, hey, this is a great stretch or a great drill or whatever that I like. So I'll throw it up there, up on those avenues real quick. And then of course, like I said, it has been pretty busy past 2 years with me, but I've still been giving plenty of seminars all over the place. I'm already talking a couple coming up in 2015. So I'll be traveling around. I've traveled all up and down.
That's great. Florida, where do you find the time? You just got married and
no time whatsoever. Yeah, so
crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
That's so cool. Well, awesome. Well, if you ever make it out to California,
have me out there.
Yeah.
Call me up.
Yeah. We can host it.
Definitely.
I will look like an asshole though, because I mean, my handstand walking skills are pretty good.
Okay.
But the thing is, I cannot stay in one place.
All right, so number one tip to every CrossFitter out there.
Here we go.
Learn how to hold a handstand in place.
That's the harder.
Yes.
It's like doing a strict muscle up versus
a kipping muscle.
Yeah, exactly. It'll lay the foundation for so much more.
Yes, and to also sell my seminar, I've had people get their first muscle up at my seminar multiple times. Even if they've tried to kip before, I teach a different method of using the leg assistance to get yourself up over the rings. Actually, the guy from nerdfitness.com, I gave him his first muscle up. Literally the first time I met him.
I can't remember, but I think you either were there or you helped me get my first muscle up.
Sure.
In Colorado. I know. I have a video of it.
Yes.
I have a video of myself. I think peeing my pants. I was so excited.
That's awesome. It's kind of awkward, but
Yeah, it's fine. A lot of people around, but when you work, 3 years on something, shitty, and then you have some coaching for a good 4 months or 4 weeks, then it's like a huge difference. Yeah. So I got really good at being mediocre, and then I finally decided to really actually work on the skill set that was necessary, like strict pull-ups and all that good stuff.
No, so it makes a difference. The coaching, preaching to the choir, I'm sure here, but coaching makes a huge difference with anything. My acrobatics, again, I started B skills, like I said, about 10 years ago, but in the past 3 or 4 years is when I really not figured out, but I knew I needed to hunt down those teachers and hunt down those resources that were much better than me. So again, I was traveling, up to the Philadelphia Circus School. I was traveling out to Las Vegas, seeing acrobats, things like that, and just night and day, the progress of the past 3 years as opposed to the 10 years,
Yeah.
And it is. It's
accelerated your education and
100%.
stuff.
It's an investment that everyone needs to make. And people always drag their feet about it. They say, oh, yeah, I can kind of figure it out by myself. Well, sometimes you can, but it just becomes a point where anyone's going to need more
up until a point, more stimulus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then to close on, do you have any advice for anybody who's trying to incorporate more of that almost acrobatics / gymnastics type work into their general pop programming that's like a nice, easy transition, whether it be through warm-ups or even through workouts? What would you suggest? What are some easy sort of ways to integrate that?
If we're talking about let's talk about what generally tends to be a goal for people or maybe a challenge for people, which is balancing in a handstand. Okay, so getting a handstand, just holding a handstand for 30 seconds. What I tell people to do, first of all, there are some various warm-ups and whatnot you can do that are that will just kind of build up the strength, not necessarily totally balance related, doing wall walks and holding yourself up against the wall. I actually just had class today. As they were kind of doing court drills across the gym, they were practicing kind of kicking up halfway into a handstand. So just getting used to doing that, and even just watching classes do that, you can kind of see the quality. Some people were able to kind of float on their hands for a second and then come back down, whereas other people, they didn't know where their body was in space. So integrating things like that is super simple for a warm up.
Yeah.
In terms of actually getting like the balance time on your hands, I tell people that it's best to try to do it either on its own time when you're feeling fresh or like at the beginning of a workout. Because I mean, you just finish a Metcon, the fine motor control necessary needed to balance in a handstand, it's just not going to happen.
And to develop the skill.
Yeah.
To really try to develop the skill, not just like perform it like under fatigue, but like to get better at it, to push your threshold for holding the balance, whatever.
Absolutely. And then biggest thing that I've seen with every single athlete who's made good progress is consistency. It's just like anything else. If I want to get better at a clean or snatch, I got to do a lot of them, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just, if I do it once a week and then I scratch my head wondering why I'm not making progress.
Yeah.
It's no secret, you know? Same thing with the handstand, you know? You got to get in that time, you know? And the other thing I always say, especially people tend to really kind of miss this point a lot of times with their gymnastics training is you've got to find the drills that are successful for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times when people will I'll see them kick up and they'll fall down, kick up, fall down. They're just doing the incorrect drills that are really not productive.
Yeah.
I make the analogy of if I wanted to squat 500 pounds, I wouldn't just walk into the gym, load the bar at 500 pounds, try it, get crushed, and say, oh, well, maybe tomorrow. And try it again.
Try it again, get crushed.
That's essentially the equivalent of what people are doing with gymnastics there.
Yeah.
Again, they have no real progression.
Yeah.
And they need to learn how to where do I need to be, what do I need to work on. And that even fluctuates day to day. There's some times when I'm feeling super good, I'll use certain drills in my training, in my acrobatics. There's other days when I'm not feeling too good, and then so I switch up those drills as well. Just like there's days when you come in here, you feel like you can squat 1,000 pounds. There's other days you come in there, you can barely squat the bar.
Yeah, we call it moving the dirt.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just come in and you just move dirt,
Exactly.
and
that's it. No, and you gotta learn how to do that. And you gotta learn how to do that correctly. And I see that being a big fault in a lot of people's gymnastics program.
Also not having the versatility to know what is appropriate. Like you said, for some people, like the skill work that's appropriate, it's not like a one size fits all, you said, if one little cue isn't working or one particular movement or progression isn't working for someone, you have to have the skill set to go outside of whatever hierarchy like you've been given and say like, okay, this is more appropriate for this person. Maybe we need to use neutral grip, like dumbbells, and that's how they plant versus,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you've got to be flexible on all of that, and not that you need to necessarily jump around to a bunch of different gurus or senseis or whatever, but you get a couple of views from well-established people, and you're going to get. It's just like anyone. You just kind of see what is the same among them all. And you say, okay, everyone's saying this. They might differ on other various things, but they all agree on this point. Okay, I need to definitely be able to do this.
Yeah.
It's the same whether it's weightlifting or gymnastics, it comes down to the same thing of finding those right progressions, finding the ones that work for you, and then just find them day in and day out. So
that's cool. Well, anything you want to plug? Anything
again, like I said, the website bskills.com. Although I am super busy, I am scheduling seminars for 2015. So if you want to contact me, please feel free to shoot me an email through my website.
Would it be Jam at B Skills, or would it be? What's the best email in case they want to email you directly right now?
Whatever's
attached to the website. Whatever link is linked up.
It forwards to my regular Gmail account.
Yeah.
I think it's bskillsgym@gmail.com or something like
cool.
that. But that they can shoot through there. I give both a beginner and an advanced seminar, both for 3.5 hours. Beginner seminar is suitable for any single person, whether they have a little bit of experience.
Only single people are allowed to go? That's pretty.
No.
That's expensive.
Any single person. Yeah. Only single people.
You cannot be with another person. You must be single. That sounds shady, Jim.
It is really weird. So it's suitable for anyone, whether they've got experience or not. And then the advanced seminar, I tell people that they don't even need to be able to hold a handstand, but as long as they've got experience getting upside down. A lot of CrossFitters I see, it's very few and far between that I see a real controlled handstand out in the open.
Yeah.
Usually they are used to kicking up into a handstand against the wall for a Metcon.
Yeah.
But their balance really isn't there.
Yeah.
But even still, the advanced seminar, as long as you're used to getting up on your hands, and as long as you've got a couple muscle ups, even if they're kipping or whatnot, that's usually pretty good for advanced seminar. So yeah, people can contact me and schedule their seminar for 2015.
That's right. Yeah, start the year off right with some B skills. Well, thanks so much, Jimmy. All right, bye. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hey, what's more romantic than buying your special someone Power Athlete swag at a discounted rate? A lot of things, actually, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't take advantage of our Valentine's Day promotion. For 1 week prior to Lover's Day, we will empower you, Power Athlete Nation, to dictate.
Yeah, dick. How many dicks is that? A lot. Dick.
To dictate the discount amount by encouraging others to follow us on social media. For every 100 new followers, we will discount an additional 1% on all apparel through the weekend of February 14th. It's the season to spread the love, so if you put out, we will too. Oh, and tune in next week for an amazing interview with the one and only Jim Wendler. His passion for strength training can be encompassed by this sentiment he expressed during our conversation, quote, "I can't relate to someone who wouldn't die for what they did." Can't wait for you guys to hear that inspiring episode next week. Well, that just about does it for this episode of Power Athlete Radio. Bye!